and welcome to Hallelujah Babes. We are your hosts, Loni and Tarrah, two besties on fire for Jesus.
A podcast where we keep it real about faith, salvation, and the goodness of God.
Get ready to join us on this uplifting journey of real stories, real faith, and real transformation.
So grab yourself a coffee, settle in,
and let's get started.
Welcome to Hallelujah Babes. Hey everyone, we're back. Hey Loni, how's it going?
Hey, it's going good. It's what is today? Monday?
No,
it's Tuesday.
I know.
I don't even know what today is.
It's
Tuesday.
Tuesday. Yes.
So I just flew in from Texas last night. And
I know.
I'm so off on my days. I'm like, what is today?
I'm so excited that you're back because you've been gone and I missed you.
I know. I missed you too.
I can't wait to hear about it.
I had a lot of fun. So we went to the American Rodeo, which is just a huge rodeo event. It's like televised, and the people running they compete all year to get qualified for the American. And then they go, and then they have a chance to win $1 million. And so the winner of each, category, I guess you could say. Mm-hmm. And so it was just really cool to watch, the best of the best. Because that's my world, right? I mean, we go to rodeo every single weekend, and we're watching kids, which are fun to watch the up and coming, generation. But man, oh man, some of these kids are just, and they're kids. I mean, some of the girls are young, 15, 16 to 18 years old. Yeah. And they are just so talented.
I feel really stupid for asking this, but what's a rodeo?
Shut up.
I swear.
Oh
I don't even really like country music, so I'm so out of the country scene. I just started Morgan Wallen.
If you had to describe a rodeo from your brain, what do you think?
Okay. I think of the people on the bulls getting bounced around.
Okay, yes.
Is that a rodeo?
Uh-huh.
That's it?
Well, not just it.
Oh,
so there's a lot of different events. So that would be considered bull riding, right? My daughter does barrel racing.
Okay, what's that?
Barrel racing is when you basically run around trash cans. Just kidding. They're just barrels, right?
Okay.
There's these big metal cans. And
on a horse.
On a horse.
Okay.
And you want to compete to see who can make it the fastest around. And so you would think running around 3 barrels wouldn't be that difficult.
Yeah.
But, oh my gosh, the amount of, talent that it takes in a horse, the amount of talent that it takes in the rider, the amount of, just precision in your lines to know exactly how to set your horse up. It's
Did you do that when you were younger?
I did. Now, I was never as competitive as my daughter, but also my family didn't have a lot of money.
Okay.
So, I had a little $100. I think actually my horse, I'm sorry, my mom bred my horse. So my horse was free. It was a little pony mutt,
Really?
He wasn't anything crazy athletic. He was just, I loved custom. He treated me well my whole life, but I did not compete at this level by any means. Okay. And then when I was little, I broke my arm really bad, remember?
Yeah. Yep.
And so that kind of put a damper on it because my arm was so messed up for so many years. I was scared to ride.
Is your arm okay now?
It is,
Can you fully extend it?
I'll never have full use of my arm like that. But so I did it for years. But so rodeo is just basically different events where people ride horses and livestock. Okay. And they just set up events, and it's a world, man.
Is it fun?
World. It's fun. It's fun. I love competition. I'm super competitive, so I love to win. A. Yeah. But B, I just like to. It's just a fun world. Everyone's super nice, and
it's very America. Yeah.
Very America. Very conservative. Very right up my alley. I'm just. I would say I've always been a country girl at heart. But I'm also I'm half country, half city. I've always kind of been that, I love country music. I love just the conservative values of country, just the world of rodeo and what they stand for. And so I'm very just I guess you could say country. Yeah. And then I think that's why I've always been drawn to moving, right? To I do visualize myself as that a lot, but then I also am very much enjoy, the beach life. I love Newport Beach, so I do say that I'm very much in the middle.
Sure.
Yeah.
Makes sense. So tell us what happened in Texas.
I know, you guys. So it's crazy. So we went out there, and I've just been praying, Lord, where do I go from here? Right. Everybody that I told on here knows my house that I'm living in now. I just rented it temporarily. I was planning on being here for 2 years, but my landlord really wants to sell it. And so, she is not forcing me by any means to have to leave. She loves us. We love her. But she's just hey, look, I would really like to get on the market, but I'll never make you leave. So whenever you're ready. However, again, it's like that thing of just kind of that push where you're like, okay, Lord, like, is this something like, this is just not my forever home. It never was. This was like a house I jumped into like really quickly.
Transitioned.
And I love my house and I love Canyon Lake, but it just doesn't work for my life, And so going to Texas, we're planning on going to the American, and just, we went there, and on Sunday, my aunt, I'm like, let's just go look at properties. Let's just go see what's around. And so, my cousin and I, we actually pulled up, and he's like, that's weird. He's like, this house, literally like behind his house and my aunt's house, they share 10 acres and they have 2 houses, like literally right next to each other.
Oh, nice.
And so the house right behind them was this beautiful home on 1.5 acres for sale. And I was like, okay, that's crazy. And so my aunt's like, oh my gosh, honey, it'd be so awesome. So we went in it, and I have to say, I was kind of like the house was beautiful, but it just had a weird vibe, right? It just,
really?
Yeah. You know how you can feel like a presence of a home?
Yeah.
And my aunt, I so badly wanted to love it, right? I did. Because it was like, it would be the perfect location. Texas is known for bugs and spiders and snakes.
Gosh.
So I'm like, Tyler, just be prepared, because I will be calling you. Or he has like a land assistant that takes care of their properties. And so I was like, I'm going to be stealing Mario from you. Like, I'd help. There's a snake.
Ew.
But
I heard the bugs are really gross. Like big. My daughter said there's like big black bugs everywhere.
Bugs are a thing,
and like
Texas.
flying around.
It is a thing, and so the city girl in me is like, oh my gosh, like bugs and me don't mix well. However, I've also grown up in the country world enough to like, do I like them? No. Do I want them in my home? No. But am I going to like have a heart attack and die if I see one? No. It's just like, how do I handle it?
Oh my gosh, no, you actually remembering, like, you hate, like, you're terrified of spiders.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, yes.
Like you're terrified.
Terrified of spiders.
Arachnophobia.
Totally. Well, I would say not as bad as anymore.
Okay.
But maybe not. I haven't had any experiences lately, maybe.
Like, oh my God, I just remembered now that you
hate spiders.
Terrified.
So the house I live in now, we have tarantulas here all the time.
Oh, heck no.
And so there's tarantulas like literally like that crawl like up my house. I'm not kidding. And so my daughter, she came home one day and there was a tarantula like walking like right here in our walkway. We have a tarantula probably once a month. Like we see them often.
I've never seen one in the wild. Like
really in the wild? Like only in a cage?
Yeah, like at the zoo or something. I don't know. Like
so she's like, luckily my neighbor had a pest control person, and Kylie literally was like screaming from like across the whole neighborhood. She's like, hey, can you come here?
Really?
So the guy came and he caught it, he picked it up, and he's like, oh, we'll just move it.
He's like, that'll be $30.
Yeah, no, he's super nice. But yeah, so spiders, bugs, I mean, that has been a reason that I've honestly been so hesitant because my youngest daughter is terrified of bugs. However, you overcome things, right? The best way to overcome is by facing it and pushing 100%. Through. So there are definitely cons to Texas, and I want to say the biggest con to me is truly the bugs. That is like a thing that I'm going to have to overcome, and so are my children. But I have to say, it's just I've been having this calling of I'm just ready for that, like country living life. The houses in California are so freaking expensive. I have to have horse property because I own 4 horses. And I just, it just fits my life, and so but I wasn't really planning. I didn't know, we kind of just had a whole busy thing with the American rodeo. And so we're like, let's just go look for fun. Yeah. That house behind them, I was like, no, don't love it. Well, then my aunt was like, but honey, it's like in our backyard. We can build an arena. I'll do all these things. And so, you get tempted. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like I want to love it. And so, we're talking about like, if we could change a couple of things, maybe change like the flow of the house. And I'm very big, like on just like the flow of the feel. Yeah. And so it just had a weird vibe. And so long story short, the realtor that came over said, hey, he's like, there's a house for sale, right? Literally like 1 block over. He's like, well, I'm here. Do you want to go check that out? We're like, okay, sure. So we go walk in, and I'm kid you not, if you're just like this, like, the house was so beautiful. Like it was so my style. Everything's immaculate in it. It's brand new. It was just built. It's on 2 acres, perfectly squared lot. The property behind it's like on like 100 acres, and they have like this huge indoor, like air conditioned, heater, like arena. Like and it has neighbors, which was a big thing, right? It's like in a neighborhood, but on property, which is hard to find in Texas. Yeah. Because I'm obviously a single girl with a daughter, and I don't want to be scared. Right. And so when we walked in, I was like, oh my gosh. And my aunt's like, okay. She's like, I didn't want to like this house because I would love for you to be in my backyard. She's like, but down the street's okay too. everyone was like, this house is beautiful. And we're like, oh my gosh, like they were asking like a really great price for it. And so, we was kind of like in the back of my head, and I was like, all right. So we went home the next day. We actually flew out that next morning, and I just kind of like, all right, Lord, I'm going to pray about it and see whatever the will is to be done. And so I think I'm going to put an offering on it.
Oh, good.
And just throw it out there.
Yeah.
And see what happens. And if it gets accepted, both my kids, I was surprised, like kind of accepted it pretty well, because that was another thing, picking up and leaving leaving the state is really hard, and so my daughter's like, I don't want to go to Texas, but my biggest hurdle was because my daughter's in rodeo, and our trainer, Belinda, she has a daughter, and her daughter and her used to train together all the time. I love her. She's a fun, super cool girl. She has a daughter that's Chloe's age, and they rodeo. And so I called her. I said, hey, tell me about high school rodeo out here. And she's like, oh, girl. She's like, once you rodeo in Texas, you're never going back to California. She's like, it's like, we go to South Point in Vegas every year. She's like, it's this huge place. It's always in the same location. She said it's indoor, it's air conditioned or heater in this winter. She's like, they have restaurants and bars and hotels, like indoor barn area for the horses. She's like, it's like amazing. She's like, the dirt's amazing what the kids run on. And so she was just like, it's like a whole nother world in California. And so she's like, and I would love to train Chloe. And so she would still be part of her team per se, but with our daughter, our trainer's daughter.
Okay.
And so because Bliss kind of had gotten out of training, the kids, because she trains horses, but she has a couple girls. And so she said that she would take Chloe on with her. And so that was kind of like, oh my gosh, a blessing. And, Chloe loves Bliss and she loves her daughter. And so we were like, hey, that might be like an opportunity to just really make this jump. And one thing I have to say is everything in life is true. Not everything. I'll take that back. But there's a lot of things in life is I'm just all about just trying it, right? And what is the worst that happens? You hate it. You're back in square one. And I don't own any. I mean, I have rental properties, but I don't have a home that I live here. It's not like I'm selling my house to leave. It's like, why not now? Try it.
Yeah.
My oldest daughter, she would not go to Texas. She would stay. But I honestly believe too, and she also believes this, is, she needs that independence push. So, getting her a place to rent, I need to help her find like a room to rent, and just really work on being alone for her, because that was my hardest thing. And so, for her, I'm like, okay, you're going to vow to me. I said, if you want to be, independent and have a healthy relationship with her boyfriend one day, I said, you cannot move in together. Right. I said, you have to honor God in all that you do. I said, so I will help you get a room. I said, you're paying for it. I said, but I'll help you find it. And I said, and just learn to be alone and be independent. I said, any time in your life to be selfish is now. So there's a lot of changes, a lot of moving pieces. And I just told both my girls, I said, look, whatever God's will be. I said, but I have such a peace about it. And I think that was kind of what we wanted to talk about today. I know that went off on a long tangent, but it's so true that if you're in a season of your life, and this is even to our listeners, that you just don't see the next step and you just don't know what direction to go, and you just feel like, oh my gosh, like, what do I do? Is I have to say that, giving it over to God, which I have been for a long time, right? I've been praying about this for months now, and it's not a fast process, and it's scary. And it's hard. I was like, literally just like, it's so emotional to like, oh my gosh, am I making the right decisions? And so, when I got home, I was fasting. And so I prayed about it, and I was like, Lord, give me just that peace, that knowing, that inner thing, like, show me that this is the right thing.
Right.
And so I started listening to podcasts and just reading about, how do you know if you hear God's voice? And, because sometimes it gets like confusing, right? Is that my voice? Is that my intuition? But in the scripture, it says, in order to know if it's God's voice and how God speaks to us is through his word, right? Reading the word and asking and praying before you open the Bible, Lord, speak to me and, talk with me. And I want to hear from you. And he will reveal his voice through that. But it's also that peace that comes over you, right? It's that inner knowing, that consciousness, I guess you could say, that you're just, and I think that it's that peace. Like I have this good feeling about it, right?
Yeah.
And I think that comes from God.
Right. Well, I think if everything kind of falls into place too, effortlessly with this whole situation, if your offer gets accepted, if it just kind of flows with Chloe getting into that program and just everything, all the doors open, I think that would be, I would assume that that's of God, right?
I agree. I do.
Yeah.
I think
so yeah, well, let's, definitely see what happens and see if because you're going to put an offer
today.
right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm going to put an offer today.
see
I'm
what
actually,
happens.
this morning I've been on the phone just, trying to figure out where we're going to go in with the offer and, all of the things that it takes. And then, my parents are going to move with me.
Okay.
And so the property's big enough to where they're going to build on it. And so, we're going to just do it. 5, 4, 3, 2, go.
All right. I'll put a little house on there too.
Please come. I would love that. Yes, but we're still going to do Hallelujah Babes, and we're just going to do it remotely.
Yeah.
And I'll show you how. I mean, that's very popular to do that. But I think, again, and here's the deal, is if it's meant to be, it will be.
Yeah, for sure.
That's one thing that God has shown me so much throughout just even this last season of my life is once you choose and to decide to follow him and honor him in all that you do, God does make it very clear when it's for you and when it's not. And so, I think there's a lot of things that I've done and moved forward and done. And I thought, okay, this is it. And I'm like, really, Lord? Like, it's not. But looking in hindsight, I think a lot of it is used to take it to the next level.
Yeah.
Right? It's just that continuous path that we walk on. And, you kind of feel like, oh my gosh, like I was feeling defeated and like, what the heck is going on? But I think the truth is that God wants us to just keep moving forward, keep walking with him. And I think that he will guide us. He will bless the path that
he has. For sure.
I think I have a good piece about it. So we'll see.
Oh, good. This is very exciting.
I know.
I love that.
I know. So I'm excited. I'm nervous.
Yeah.
It's that big,
but you're very intuitive and you will know.
100%.
You always do. And even things that me and you have talked about in the past with you, you knew when things were not right and weren't for you, and you chose against it, and you
learned the hard way.
And you know what I mean? So it's like, you definitely know, 100%. We all do. We all know, even non-believers, like there's that intuition that people have, and it's it's definitely there for a reason. And especially with women, I think that is one of our special gifts is having intuition. And we all know when things are for us and not, and we know when we're going against it. And when we do, if you go against that little voice, you're in for it. It's just not good. It's going to be a bad road to go down.
Totally. Me and Kylie talked about that last night because, we were just chit-chatting. It was me, her, and Mike. We were all just laying in my bed and talking about just life and, just about, honestly, like our podcast that we talked about last time of just honoring God and all that you do.
Yep.
And we were talking about, with her, I said, again, Kylie, I said, you're 19 years old. You have your whole life ahead of you. Like you have so much to offer and to excitement for the future. I said, but if you can remember first to honor God and all that you do, God will help guide your path. And so I think, again, it's doing what you know, right? And learning from a young age to follow that inner knowing. She knows, she's been raised with the Bible and she knows what God teaches us. So, you want to, because I'm moving to Texas, she's like, oh, well, maybe me and Mike will get a place together. And I said, let me tell you, I said, this is, again, I wish somebody was advocating for me. I said, you and Mike get a place together and you guys do everything backwards. You move in and say you get pregnant and then you get married. God will not honor and bless that marriage.
That's right.
He won't.
Yep.
You're going to have the consequences of that choice. And so it's just, again, it's teaching our children to how to listen to that inner knowing and how to do what we know to do,
right?
Regardless of fear, because she's scared, she's never been alone. She's never been by herself. And, Kylie's very much like
you were.
Oh, totally. She literally reminds me of me.
Oh my gosh.
So and again, as a mom, you're like, okay, I'm going to walk you through this step by step. Obviously they have to learn by themselves.
It is so crazy. My daughter's just like me too. So weird. I mean, we're like twins, not just people say we look alike, but like people hear her on the phone because I'll have her on speaker. I mean, everyone's like, wow, it's talking to you. Like I sound like, she sounds like you. Just her tone, her personality, you know, it's so crazy how they're like us.
It's so funny. It is so funny.
Right?
It's funny how they grow up and you watch them become you. And now I don't think Lacey is like as wild as you were.
No.
By any means.
Oh gosh, she's very conservative.
Very, yeah.
She's like a little grandma with her little cardigans. Yeah. I was like, oh, look at you, you little cute. We're so opposite with our styles, but she is. I always say she is me, but better. Yeah. She's the better version of me. Yeah. I'm so blessed.
Totally, and I think that is the goal, right? Is to every generation have us become a little bit better. Yeah. And, you know, again, like I said, you know, we make a lot of mistakes in our lives, but I'm very clear on my mistakes. And I always tell my kids, I'm like, look, you can do what I did, but you've seen where it's gotten me and the, you know, difficulties in my life. I said, you know, if I could teach you how to avoid them and you would hear anything that, you know, kids are like, oh, you don't know anything, Mom. But I have to say my kids listen for sure. Yeah. And, you know, you just pray.
Mine too.
Pray. I mean, again, God loves my kids more than obviously I love them. And so, you know, I always pray for them over them and that, you know, they make good decisions in their life. But with change, it's scary of the unknown. So, you know, I think that, again, it's just taking that step in faith. Yeah. And really, truly trusting in God's plans. Right. And it just feels right for this season of my life. I'm excited for change. I'm excited for, and, you know, just to get my roots planted. Very cool. Have a home and just, you know, be planted.
Well, I'll be praying for you and that everything will just, and if it's not meant to be, that God closes the doors. Exactly. Do not accept that offer. Exactly. If she's not supposed to be in that house, you know, all the things. And I feel that God would definitely have his hand in that for sure.
I agree for sure. Yeah.
He wants to protect us and you're willing to listen.
100. Are you kidding? At this point in my life, I have learned. If it's not for me, I don't want it.
Nowhere to go but up.
Exactly. I don't want it. If it's not for me, I don't want it. And I'm not willing to play that game because I know that there is something for me. God will never forsake us. God will always have our back. God will always provide and always take care of us. And he always has a plan. Right. Even though we want to see the end of the book now, we're just like, we want to know, like, can I just skip to see where we end up?
For sure.
But it doesn't work that way.
Yeah, I know. It's crazy. I think about how the Bible says that in 2 Peter 3:8, but do not forget this one thing, dear friends, with the Lord, a day is like 1,000 years, and 1,000 years are like a day. This verse reminds us that God exists outside of time. He's eternal. What feels long to us can be just a moment to him, and what seems like a short time for us could be significant in his plan. That is very interesting to me when I heard that, because like I said in one of our previous shows that how like Mary, my neighbor, she was praying for me for 19 years. Mm-hmm. And that seems like a really long time. And I mean, 19 years to pray for someone, you kind of feel like defeated after probably 1 year.
Because in our life, that is like half of our life.
I know. That's a long time. Okay, and so, but to God, that's like a minute. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. That means, so I don't know. I take that into consideration when thinking about how God, his plans, mm-hmm. It's like, well, I want this now, but to him, it means nothing now. Like,
totally.
Yeah. That's like a minute.
Exactly. He's like now, or in his timing, it just, again, it is not our same timing. We're just on different, mm-hmm. like you said, time frames. Yeah. God lives in eternity. We live in reality here on this worldly time frame. It's just so different, you know, and it's hard to even, it really is like when you stop and think about the spiritual realm and you stop and think about the physical realm, like it's so hard to understand, but then it also makes so much sense. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah.
Like you're just like, you feel like you were so close to like almost like this tiny little veil that like separates us, from eternity, from Jesus, from the next, life. And so, I think when you think about things like that and you think about eternity and you think about the temporary life and the shortness of this life that we have, how fast this life goes, is it really does help give you like that faith and that peace and that comfort and that knowing that, okay, God, like we want things now, especially in the society we live in, right? We're just instant.
So now. Everything. Yes. I want a car now.
Exactly. I want everything right this second.
Now.
Yeah, we want answers now.
I want pink pots and pans now.
Is that a thing?
I literally do. You know, my house, it's all pink and girly. Like I literally want to redo all my kitchen to like pink.
That's
everything.
So cute.
I know. And someone said to me the other day, like, well, what if, because I want pink cups, I want pink pots, of course everything has to be very classy.
Yeah.
And you know, pink knife set, pink spatula. Yeah, like I literally want that. And someone said, well, what if you get a husband? And I'm like, and?
He's going to love me for my pink self.
Don't you think he's going to love it?
Like,
I don't know. Maybe he'll have some black ones or something.
Yeah, exactly. We'll incorporate. Exactly. And again, it's all about seasons, right? You're in the season of being able to, you know, have the benefits of being alone.
That's
right. Have all the girly stuff. And when you get married, you pivot.
Exactly. I'm very into this girl time that I'm having.
Yeah.
Everything's all very glam in my house and just very feminine energy. I love it so much. I love it. It makes me so happy when I come into my house every day. I look around, I'm like, oh, you're so cute. I just bought this pillow, Loni, and it has like it's embroidered and it's like for a throw pillow for the couch and it has 3 cupcakes on it.
Oh,
isn't that so adorable?
I saw that.
Did you see it in the picture?
Maybe.
Oh yeah, because I posted a picture of Ellie, my daughter's dog.
Is that what it was? Yeah. That's so
came
funny.
over to visit, and she's the only dog that could ever sit on my white couch because she's a white dog. Yeah. She's very bougie. I was like, hey, let me get a picture of you right next to the cupcake pillow there.
Yeah, that's so funny.
So cute. But yeah, so I'm enjoying that time.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah. Well, I think that we should enjoy the seasons that we're in while we're in them. And that's hard to do when you feel like you're in a season of waiting.
Right.
Because you kind of are in this transition period. But I do have to say that God is keep laying on my heart to just embrace and enjoy. And it's a forever, like, I don't want to say struggle, but it is a constant battle to like remind yourself, right? Like to not get in your head,
get ahead of yourself,
to get it over here. Just take one day by day by day by day, and 1 minute by minute by minute by minute, because that's all we can do.
Well, remember that verse I said to you the other day, Matthew 6:34. It says, therefore, do not worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow will worry about itself. Each day has enough trouble of its own.
Exactly.
I thought that was pretty funny.
Yeah, I know. We talked about that last, or I think that was our last podcast, but it's just the truth. You know, it really is the truth. And it is, I think, again, it's just enjoying the journey while we're here. You know, I mean, there's so many people that wake up today that will be taking their last breath today.
Oh my gosh.
You know?
Yeah.
I mean, so when you look at it in perspective like that, you know, and I always try to do that is like, okay, like there's so many, you know, I'm stressed on like, oh, where am I going to buy a home? And, you know, where am I going to move my horses? And it's like, okay, Loni, you're stressed on the blessings of life, right? I mean, I'm so blessed and I have healthy family, and I have healthy children, and I have, you know, just an amazing life. And it's like you stress yourself out over the things that God has blessed me with.
Right.
You know, and I'm like, okay, like, you know, and there's people out there that just, you know, have it so hard and have so many trials and true tribulations happening in their lives. So it really does make you, again, reevaluate the mindset that we have behind it. You know, we choose to focus on and stress on, and go, God doesn't want us to focus and worry all the time. He wants us to control our thoughts. And, you know, when you have those panic of like, oh my gosh, what's the future hold? Where am I going to go? Which it's so it's a battle constantly. It's so easy to go down that spiral, you know, and then God does, like, you take that quiet time, you read his word, and he reminds you, like, I got this.
Yeah.
You don't need to worry, you know? And so I think the best way to hear God and feel that comfort from God is to truly open up God's word and pray and just let him speak to you and let him provide you with that peace. And he does. I mean, he just has never let me down in that. You know, even right now in this season, there's so many decisions to make, but it's like, it's that intuition. It just feels right, you know? Because it's the home, I don't know, but it feels right. It feels like the right next move. All of the doors are opening, everything, you know, you just, we'll see.
We'll see.
So tell me what's going on in your life. Obviously, God's opened up these doors for Texas. I know last time we had talked, you were a little bit frustrated with a friend and had lost a lot of jobs going on. Have you had God speak to you? Have anything changed? What's going on with
you? Okay, so first off, this is funny. I was upset with my friend, and I was just remember I was expressing how I was so angry that day, and that's one of my things is just like, oh, anger really gets in me when I'm mad. And so I was kind of sad that day, just like thinking very bad, not bad, but thinking like, gosh, kind of down on myself, right? And I left the gym and I was driving, and I always talk to God. I talk out loud when I'm driving, and I was like, Lord, and He talks to me, talks back. I was like, Lord, I'm so sorry. I was such a brat today. Why? Gosh, why? Why am I don't like this part of me. Like, why was I so abrasive and just like, meh? And He says, well, because you're full of sin. You're sinful. And I was like, yeah. And He goes, and gosh, and I've been cursing a lot lately. And that's something that I've been working on, it's not attractive to be cussing. It's not ladylike. And also it's not Christ-like at all.
Yeah.
So I've been really working on, my mouth and then, that particular day I just said a lot of bad words. not very savory words. And he said to me, he goes, yeah, I go, gosh, I've been cussing a lot. And he goes, I've noticed.
So tell me, because I want to know for people.
I know a lot of people want to know.
When you say God talks to you, I mean, obviously you're not hearing Him out loud. I mean, verbally, like speaking or audibly, I should say. What is it?
It's
how
like,
do you know?
It's just like in my spirit, like it's an immediate answer. And these are things that I wouldn't normally say. And I'll give you examples. But like, I'll say this out loud. I'll go, oh gosh, I'm so sorry. I've been cursing a lot lately and I don't like that. And that's something I've been working on. And He goes, yeah, I've noticed. Because He is funny, honestly. Like I'm learning His personality just by the way that we have been talking a lot. And He says little funny things sometimes. But yeah, it's an immediate answer back in my head. And then I said to Him, what do I do? I just want to be better. And He said to me, you can just keep being better. Just keep every day. It's not going to be easy, Tarrah. It's not going to be easy. It's going to be an uphill battle. I never said it was going to be easy, but you will be okay. Just when you fall, just pick back up and just keep doing better every day. Don't just push it off and be like, oh, well, I'm just horrible. I guess I'm just kind of like a diet, like we talked about.
Yeah, right? That's exactly what I was thinking about. He
just says, you're not perfect. I know that.
Yeah.
Just keep picking yourself up and do better tomorrow. And I was like, okay. And I was like, do you still love me? And He's like, of course I do. I was like, thank you. And then I was like, in my head, I was like thinking about, I was like, I got to call Kristen because she loves to hear these when He talks to me. And she goes, I got to call Kristen. And He said to me immediately, he goes, can you stop thinking about Kristen right now? I'm talking to you. And I was like, oh, sorry. The reason why I know that it is God talking to me is because, and I shared this on my very first podcast with you when you had me on for my testimony from darkness to light. I shared with you the things that happen, and they're like these little supernatural events that take place where I get this in my head, like an inner knowing in my spirit. God's telling me something. And it's not me, because these are not things that I would say. So when I was on my apology tour, having to reach out to certain men that I, had gone off on, there'd be a guy that he kept putting in my head. He put this name in my head. And I'm like, I don't want to reach out to this person. Oh my gosh, like, oh, please. And I ignore. And remember I said, I go, well, Lord, I can't talk to this person. He has me blocked because I really went off on him, And I go, look, and I open the phone. I go, oh, look, I'm blocked. And then like 10 minutes later, I see a thing pops up and it says, oh, so-and-so's on da, 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 da. Like that person unblocked me in that moment. So there's just these little things that let me know that it's not just my inner dialogue. Does that make sense?
Yes, I do. Because it reminds me of, again, it's like when God has a plan or it's his will or he makes the doors open. He makes the opportunity available.
Yeah.
Right. And I guess that's kind of how I visualize it. Like, oh no, well, you want me to apologize to this person, but he's blocked me and I can't.
Yeah.
And then it's like, all of a sudden you're unblocked. And so it's just them opening up the doors.
Yes.
Where we make excuses or we may have just like the roadblocks, and again, I think that that's how God works. And I think that is how we know that we're on his path. And I think that because you are so audible, that God probably speaks to you different. I think he speaks to us all differently.
For sure.
I think for me, a lot of it, I read a lot. I've always loved to read. And so especially now that I'm on Lent, instead of scrolling social media, I'm scrolling the Bible pages. So I read, I in his word a lot lately, and I feel like God speaks to me probably the most through that. And I think again, it's that knowing that God is, especially because in the seasons of life that I'm going through and like the things that are on my mind. And then when I read it, I'm like, whoa. That to me is like supernatural.
That's how God's talking to you
through his word. Because I'm like, and it's not even like you're like searching for verses to like, to compliment whatever situation I'm in or to like want to hear. It's like I literally will like open up the word and I'll like scroll and just like whatever it lands on. And I mean, I've done that before.
Oh, wow.
And it literally, God has like stopped in a verse where I'm just like, God, like,
that's cool.
Are you here? Like that to me, there's been a few times where you're just like, wow, like that's exactly what I needed to hear.
Yeah.
So I think that that's how God does speak to me in my season of life. But I think it's cool to have like conversations with him and that you think, his personality shows to you.
For sure.
And I think that everybody has that different relationship with him, and that's cool.
One of the most famous things that my friend Kristen, she loves this one. And she's like, you got to tell them about this one on the show. I was like, all right. So so God has told me that he doesn't want me dating for a year. Around New Year's, right? I'm supposed to
count down.
Yeah, I'm like, what's the
January?
date? Yeah. And so anyway, I'm not supposed to be entertaining anything other than him, right?
Yep.
And getting really close with him. And so that's what I've been doing. And like right around, so this was told to me around the New Year. And then maybe a few weeks later, I'm driving in here into Canyon Lake and there's like a cute guard at the gate that I know that's there. And I was like, ooh, and I had my hair up in a bun. And I was like, ooh, in my head, I was like, ooh, the guard, he's here, he's cute. And so like, I go to take the hair clip out of my hair. And right as I'm pulling it, like it's not even out, God says to me, put your hair back up. You don't need to be impressing anyone but me right now. And I was like, oh, okay. See, but like I didn't say that.
Totally.
And it was literally those words. It was put your hair back up. You don't need to be impressing anyone but me right now.
Yeah, totally. Well, I do think that is God speaking to you because again, you in your heart know the commitment that you made. And I think it's when you're walking on his path and you're honoring him it's like that holding yourself accountable. We're born with that inner knowing, that consciousness. I think that is the moral compass of our life, right?
Yeah.
And that comes from God. I think believer or non-believer, I think we all have that in our hearts.
For sure.
That, I think as you grow closer with God, you then become more aware of your actions and you are like, you're living your life to honor him. And you're like, okay, I gave you my word, God, that I was going to do this. So, he reminds us because he loves us and he wants to keep you.
Right.
Us always on the track, and it takes that constantly.
Yeah,
it's like a toddler. You're teaching them to potty train. It's like every 5 seconds. You have to go potty. Okay, you're always checking in on them. You good? You can't drink all the water before bed. It's just we set them up for success, and I think that's what God has been doing in your life.
Yeah, totally. It's been really cool, and I expressed this before. He does talk to me a lot. Anytime I talk to him, he talks back because I think that because he knows that I love connection and I love to talk a lot.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah, that's really nice. We have that little thing going.
Yeah. So how did it go with your friend? Did you apologize? Did you guys work it out?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay,
yeah, I apologize. I do.
Okay.
I do. I apologized for being abrasive and, everything's good. And I took it to God and I was just like, oh, that, like I said that day, I was like, I'm sorry. I was so rude. And he's just like, it's fine. Like, just please, like, just pick back up.
Totally.
Like, let's go. Like, you're good. Like, he was so kind. And that's the thing is, like, I know, like, his character, and he's so sweet and he's so gentle. And he's just like, he's not like, well, what the heck did you do that for? You know, he's just so like,
gracious.
It's okay. Like, it's not okay, but like, you know, just, it's okay. Don't beat yourself up. Just do better. He just like wanted me to understand, like, just do better. You're not perfect. And that's why I have grace for you, because you're not. And I just want you to, but just keep trying. That was the message that I got from him, is just keep trying. Don't sit in this discomfort and just self-pity, not pity, but like,
well, you beat yourself up because you said, why am I like this? I don't like this part of me.
For sure.
God doesn't want us, he doesn't want us to love our sinful nature by any means, but also I think God wants us to acknowledge that we were born with sinful desires and nature. I mean, that's just by instinct. And so, it is, in order to truly honor God and try to live the life of, less sin as possible, as it does take constant regrouping and constant forgiving and constant graciousness.
It's like daily.
It's by the minute.
It's daily. Yeah. It's a daily choice. Like how they say it's a daily choice to love someone, like love your partner. It's truly a daily choice to love the Lord.
Totally.
And to like choose him every day. It's not like, oh, I'm a Christian now, I choose God. It's like you have to actually get up every day and make that choice of like showing up for your partner, which is the Lord.
That's in everything of life, I mean, if you want to be in shape, you got to show up.
Sure.
And you got to put in the daily work every single day. If you want to be successful, you got to work your business every single day. You got to grow. You got to learn. If you want to have a relationship with God and live on his path, you got to work for it.
Yeah.
That's life. Being a human,
Sure.
And again, a lot of people take the easy route out, and it's, you just pleasurable, it's like, oh, my life is so good, this and that. And you're like, well, of course the sinful life is pleasurable for sure. It does feel good to be out having sex with all these people. And it does feel good to go out drinking all the time. And in that moment, it is pleasurable.
In the moment. Yeah.
In the moment. But it's the consequences of the choices. Satan a lot of times comes with that pleasure, right? Everything is pleasurable, and it's like, oh, my life looks great on the outside, but Satan might use that as a lure, right? To bring you in, to make it look pleasurable and that you're enjoying it and that this life is so good, but he will 100% take you out when he can. And it might take a while.
Yeah.
So you just have to remember that, it's not always going to be easy. It's not always going to be pleasurable. It's not always going to be perfect. It's just a matter of, like dieting.
Yeah.
It's sacrifice and discipline, but the result is health and fitness and feeling good,
Totally.
So it's so worth it.
Yeah. And then as far as, being stressed over that whole financial situation,
Is that helping that I'm moving now?
Yeah.
Can I just add to that?
And you're taking your mom? She's one of my clients.
Shoot. Yeah, that's so funny. Well, not funny, but I didn't even think about that at all. You're like, oh my gosh, so what are you thinking? Now, I mean, it is a snowball effect on your business.
It's
of
okay.
Me moving and my mom
I don't
moving.
know why. Well, I do know why, actually. I do feel peace.
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah, me too.
I feel peace because I just feel like, I'm graduating next Wednesday from school. Yeah. This is so, oh my gosh, I've been so like happy. Yesterday I started like tearing up at school. There's a class of 10 of us, and we all started together on the same day back in October. And we had this 6-month course. We were there Monday through Friday, from 5 to 10 every week. And they're all wonderful girls, 10 of us. And we got very blessed to be in this class, and everybody got along great. There was no major issues, no drama. It was very unheard of, to be honest, to put a bunch of girls that don't know each other and not have, because even the other classes were like, oh my gosh, you guys like each other. Like, that's crazy. There's always a divide, you know? So we are so blessed, and it was a beautiful experience that we had. That was really amazing. And just, we helped each other along the way. Everyone, you know, they're all a lot younger. There's a couple that are my age, but I'm very computer illiterate. They all helped me with my iPad.
Yeah.
I learned how to AirDrop, guys. Hey. But like, it was just so sweet. Everyone was so sweet to me.
Yeah.
And vice versa. And it's, you know, there's so many things, there's so many factors in this situation that is like huge. This is a huge deal, because I have been waiting for this moment for years. You know, like I said in the last, we talked about, I had my kids young. I needed to take care of them and be home and get them to practice, pick them up from school. I had to put my entire life and like my career path on hold until they were grown and out of the house. Now they're adults. My daughter's 22, my son's 20. They're out of the house. They're doing their thing. Everyone's good. Everyone is very good and solid. And so this was my time, and I've been waiting for this moment. And it came, it's here. And I'm about to graduate next Wednesday. And I'm so like, I'm so happy, and I'm so proud of myself. Yeah. Because I've been wanting this for so long, and I really enjoy the esthetician world. Yeah. I love skincare. It's super fun. I could totally see myself doing this every single day, all day long. It's great. And I definitely found something that I love. Yeah. So I'm very excited. This is a huge deal. This is a big milestone for me. Yeah. And I praise God. Thank you so much, Lord. Yeah. It's amazing. So I know
perfect transition.
Yeah,
this is
he's opening that door. Yeah. And
it's funny, because this is what I learned just recently, is again, when you know that it's God's will and that it's God speaking to you and God opening up the door, is A, it aligns with his word, and B, is you have that peace that's unknown, right? Again, it's that shouldn't feel peaceful. And there might be moments where you overwhelm it, because we get in our head and we start talking. I noticed that with my family. My family is a talker, and every time I talk to them, I get so overwhelmed, because I'm like, think of all the decisions, all the things. And then I come back to God, and I'm like, okay, Lord, like, take this fear, this stress, this anxiety. And he does, you know, and then he just like gives you that peace. Yeah. And I think that is such a gift that he gives us, to know, like, look, like, you're on the right path. If you didn't have that peace and that contentment when all of your accounts are walking away, you would probably then think like, well, maybe I need to start panicking, or not panicking, but you know, start working on going out and doing these things. But you're just kind of like, okay, well, I know this is going to be like the next perfect transition. You trust. Yeah. And that peace, I think, is when you know that you're connected with God and that he has his hand over it. Right. You know, it's like he does take away the stress of having to do it alone. And that, I think, is something that's so important to share with others, because I can't imagine the season of my life I've gone through the last 9-10 months without God by my side, because being alone and having to make decisions that not only affect me, but affect my children and affect my family. And it's just, it's a lot of weight on your shoulders, and it's scary of the unknown, because, you know, Satan's so good at planting fear within us. But God, if you lean into him and you grow a relationship with him and you walk hand in hand with him, he will provide you with the peace that is indescribable in moments in time where you should not feel peaceful. For sure. Because the world would teach you to panic. And when you talk to people and your friends or family or this or that, you know, it's like I'll notice myself to start to spiral and get freaked out, because this world, that's what they teach us. Yeah. You know, it's like the unknown is so scary, and there's, oh my gosh, what if, and 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 we think of all the what ifs. And then God's like, no, I'm not going to forsake you. Yeah. I'm not going to turn my back on you. Like, I have a plan, Loni. Trust me. Yeah. You know, I will take care of you. And he has, you know, and so there's any advice that we could pass on is truly, if you're in that season of your life where you just feel stressed out and overwhelmed and you cannot get that anxiety to go away or that, fear to go away, open up the Bible and pray and give it to God. And I'm telling you, he will give you this undescribable peace.
Mm-hmm. Play some Bible roulette like Loni does.
Right?
Ding. See what happens. What does the Lord say today?
Yeah, I'd love to do that. I don't know why.
I've never done it. And I could.
No, it's fun.
Well, I'm new to all this, you know?
It's fun. I think too, it's easy on the Bible app as well because, really, you can kind of go to like anything, right? There's like whatever like pops up. And I'm like, I'm going to just go on that, Lord, speak to me.
Yeah.
And there's so many plans and this and that are already put together that you can just like, that one.
So cool.
It is cool. So I think it's when you open up the Bible even too, I like reading on the Bible app because I like the translation of it. I like the easier translation. Mm-hmm. But even if you did that on the Bible, you could still do the same thing.
Yeah, you just open it and kind of,
however it works. But I say play it, try it.
Yeah.
And ask God before you do it. Say, speak to me, when you're in like a time of, need or you want clarity or decision making.
Yeah.
And it's funny how not every time does it always irrelevant, but there's been many times,
wow,
that
cool.
You're like, wow, okay, Lord, that's weird. Yeah. It still blows your mind.
I like that. I'm going to try it.
Yeah, okay. Absolutely.
All right, guys. Well, I think we had a long show, and
I know we did.
We had a lot to talk about.
Apparently, yes. Yeah. Well, we'll see. Next episode, we'll see if the offer was accepted and if we're gonna jump.
All right, and say a prayer for us, guys. That God leads the way for whatever He wants.
Absolutely. And honestly, if anybody out there's listening, we would love to hear from you guys. Mm-hmm. We would love for you guys to write in and tell us of maybe something that's going on in your life that we could pray for you on, but also if God has put his hand over your life and opened up a door and, really helped take you to that next level to, overcome some maybe hard situation, and give us your testimony.
Yeah, we love that.
We do love that.
Testimonies are my favorite, and it just really helps strengthen your faith when you hear how God moves in others' lives and stuff. So
so if you have a testimony, share. Please. Or if you have a prayer request and you are in need of guidance, definitely reach out to us and we will definitely pray for you that God, will show up and help you in that decision.
And you can be anonymous too. If you don't want your name out there, just, put anonymous.
Absolutely.
That'd be great.
Yep. Perfect. Well, thank you everybody for tuning in. Have a fantastic day.
Bye.